The arena lights dim, and a heavy silence spreads like a storm waiting to explode. Every fan knows they aren't just here for a fight. They're here for a collision of two worlds. On one side stands Jeff Monson, the relentless American grappler with a stare cold enough to freeze steel. A man built like a tank, carrying years of cage experience in every step he takes toward the center. On the other side, Aleksander Emelianenko, the Russian enigma with a presence that feels less like a fighter and more like a force of nature. His walk to the ring is slow, calculated, and terrifyingly calm. No smile, no hesitation, just a dangerous silence that unsettles even the loudest fans. As both fighters enter the cage, the air thickens with tension. This is not a regular bout. This is a clash, soaked in danger, unpredictability, and primal power. The referee calls them in, and for a second, they stand still. Monson doesn't blink. Aleksander barely breathes. Their eyes lock, and it feels like two predators sizing each other up moments before the kill. No one knows how the opening seconds will unfold. Will Monson shoot early and drag the Russian into deep grappling waters? Or will Aleksander unleash the type of fire that has ended fights before they even began? The bell is seconds away, but the suspense feels like slow torture. Fans grip the rails, waiting for the eruption. Monson shifts his weight forward. Aleksander lifts his chin slightly. It's like watching two mountains prepare to collide. The bell rings, and everything explodes into motion. As soon as the bell cracks through the air, Aleksander wastes no time establishing dominance. His long frame moves forward like a shadow swallowing space, and Monson instantly finds himself calculating angles and timing. But Monson is no stranger to danger. He has walked into storms far bigger than this one. He lowers his stance, ready to shoot. But Aleksander's reach advantage becomes a weapon all on its own. A jab slices through the air, fast, stiff, and mean. It snaps Monson's head back, and the arena erupts. This is not just a jab. It is Aleksander's warning shot. Monson absorbs it, shakes it off, and steps in again, this time faking a level change. Aleksander reacts late. Monson sees an opening and lunges, grabbing hold of the Russian's hips. But Aleksander sprawls with the force of a falling tree, slamming all his weight downward, stopping Monson's takedown attempt in its tracks. The crowd gasps. Aleksander then pushes Monson away and fires a brutal right hand that whistles past Monson's ear by inches. That punch could have ended the fight right there. The suspense only grows as Monson recalculates. He knows he cannot stand too long with Aleksander. Every second on the feet is a gamble with dynamite. But Aleksander knows that if Monson gets this to the ground, the script changes instantly. This tension creates a terrifying balance. One mistake is all it will take to flip the entire fight. Aleksander circles with cold precision, hunting. Monson studies his movement, waiting for a tiny gap. Every breath, every step, every twitch creates more suspense. The crowd becomes silent as another explosive moment draws near. Midway through the round, the pace shifts, not gradually, but violently. Aleksander launches a heavy right hook, and Monson ducks just in time to avoid disaster. The punch sails past, but the force leaves a shockwave in the air. Monson immediately reacts, shooting in deep and wrapping his arms around Aleksander's waist like a vice. This is the moment Monson has been hunting. Aleksander struggles, but Monson squeezes tighter, driving forward with all his weight. For a split second, the Russian giant looks vulnerable. The crowd senses a shift. Monson is finally dragging him into a world where strength alone won't save him. Aleksander tries to peel Monson's grip, but Monson is relentless. He drives forward again and manages to pin Aleksander against the fence. This is unfamiliar territory for the Russian. Monson starts working short punches to the ribs, grinding, breaking, wearing his opponent down piece by piece. The suspense is suffocating. Can Monson shift momentum? Will Aleksander escape? Just when it seems Monson is gaining control, Aleksander suddenly explodes with a violent burst of energy. He shoves Monson off, creating space, and fires a knee straight up the middle. It lands flush. The crowd gasps in shock. Monson stumbles backward, eyes wide, breath stolen. The knee changes the entire fight in an instant. Aleksander smells blood. He closes in with the patience of a hunter, but the aggression of a monster. Every step he takes feels like a countdown toward chaos. Monson lifts his hands. Monson is tough, everyone knows it. But the knee has rattled him, and now he is fighting not just Aleksander, but the fog inside his own mind. Aleksander moves forward like a machine built for destruction. His punches aren't wild, they're precise, cold, calculated. A left cross smashes through Monson's guard, followed by a slicing right hand that forces him to take another step back. Every punch Aleksander throws feels like it carries the weight of the entire arena. But Monson refuses to fall. He plants his feet and tries one last shot at survival, a desperate takedown attempt launched from pure instinct. He dives low, reaching for Aleksander's legs, but Aleksander sprawls with brutal efficiency. Monson hangs on, but Aleksander rains down hammer fists, each one heavier than the last. The crowd stands. They feel the end creeping closer. The suspense reaches a boiling point as Monson tries to rise, but Aleksander won't allow it. He shoves Monson back to the fence and unleashes a torrent of punches. Monson's heart is enormous. He covers up, absorbs the storm, and somehow finds the strength to fire back a short hook. It lands. Aleksander momentarily pauses, not hurt, but surprised. The crowd explodes again. Monson isn't done. He throws another punch, then another, refusing to let the darkness swallow him. This is raw survival. Grit versus fury, heart versus power. But Aleksander's unstoppable pressure begins closing a final distance. His punches grow heavier, more ruthless. Monson is being pushed to the edge, and everyone in the building can feel something massive approaching. Something decisive, something dangerous. Monson is breathing fire, refusing to surrender even as his body begins to fail him. Aleksander sees the resistance fading but does not rush the finish. He stalks, like a predator, savoring the final moments. Every step he takes toward Monson makes the arena colder. The fans grip their seats. Commentators fall silent. The ending feels near, but no one knows exactly the hammer will fall. Monson tries to fire back one more time, launching a looping right hand. But Aleksander slips it effortlessly and counters with a crushing uppercut that snaps Monson's head back like a whip. The sound echoes through the arena. Gasps, shouts, stunned silence. Monson drops to one knee, desperately trying to rise again, but Aleksander is already moving. A vicious left hook follows, then a thunderous right hand. Monson collapses. The referee steps in instantly, waving it off. It's over.